Good afternoon, everybody. Today is August 22nd, and it's been a long day, but I just wanted to go over LALATE's video on Hazard Pay, and I do have a few comments about it. And again, I really do appreciate his videos. He seems to be one of the only few people talking about Hazard Pay. There are some people talking about it, but it's just that their platforms are so small that, it's nice that a larger platform is actually addressing the issue of hazard pay. So, with that being said, LA Late, he does his research and then he distributes it to people in a way that they can better understand and digest. And with that being said, I'm just gonna watch his video, and all the information that he says, again, is things you can find um, online, or if you look around for the information. But I wanted to do a review just because I have some disagreements on how he words things or how he says things. But again, this is him just giving us the information. So it's not like he in particular is making any of these things. Like he's just the messenger, and he's doing a really good job, and I really appreciate it. But I'm making this review because there's a lot of essential employees who don't consider things that I think they should start considering. So with that being said, let's get into the video.
Is currently in the Senate from the House. There's no hazard pay in the Republican plan. There has never been a hazard pay bill in a Republican plan that is broadly accepted. The Romney plan is an enormously incredible program. It's such great news when we first saw it. It is written by Mitt Romney, who is, of course, is a Republican out of Utah. It was introduced months and months and months ago, back in May. I've reported extensively. I adore it. The only thing negative about it is it's a little bit less money than the Democrat plan, but not a lot. I think it's like $6,000 versus $10,000. It's not a lot, but
Okay, first of all, LA Late, again, I really appreciate that you go out of your way to distribute information, but the thing is that the difference between $10,000 and $6,000 is tremendous. That's a $4,000 difference. A $4,000 difference is huge. I don't know why you would say that. What are you really rich or something? Because $4,000 is a lot. $1,200 was what people were getting in the last stimulus checks. So I don't know why you would say that, and it's not against you, but it's just I don't understand why you don't think $4,000 is a big difference. It really is. And also, if we in the 4 months time frame of those collecting unemployment, right? If I do a quick breakdown, right? 10 times 40. If there's two brothers, right? And brother A and there's brother B. And brother A was an essential employee while brother B wasn't. You know, if in the 4 months time frame, if brother A is an essential employee making $10 an hour, that's $400 a week, and then you times that by 16 weeks, that's $6,400. Okay, that is $6,400 to be an essential employee, risking your life, not getting any kind of hazard pay compensation, and then there's no free time to himself, and he's just stressed out. His mental health is killed, and then he's risking his health. People have died while working. Okay, so I don't know, any amount is anyway. So brother B, if he's on unemployment and he's only collecting, I don't know, anywhere from 50 to 58% of his unemployment insurance with $600 from the Additional CARES Act, that is around, he is making $800 plus. But we're just gonna go with 800 because $600 from the CARES Act and then $200 from the unemployment insurance. Because if they're both making 10, he's basically making half of 400 per week plus the additional 600 CARES Act bonus. So he's actually just making double, if not a little bit more, with the 58%. But we're going to leave that out. So one brother has made 6,400. The other brother has made 12,800. The one staying at home, having all this free time to himself to do whatever he wants, for good or bad, while collecting more money, while not having to risk his health, not having to be stressed out from working, doing whatever you want, spend time with kids, go back to school, focus on education, invest in the stock markets. Opportunities that people who are essential employees just simply do not have because they're too busy working, risking their life day to day, providing goods and services for the economy and the American people. So he's made double the money, $6,400. So if you did receive a hazard pay of $6,000 from Mitt Romney's proposal, right? Well, if it's slightly less, right, that then you'd make $400 less as an essential employee than his brother. If the two brothers, if the essential employee brother A, got the $6,000, that's he makes $400 less by being an essential employee, while his brother, who's on unemployment benefits with the CARES Act, is significantly way off better than him financially and his time. And you know what? The thing is that every time we print more money, right, the value of the dollar loses purchasing power, because the government doesn't make money. I mean, the government, they make money, okay? They print more money, but the value of the dollar doesn't go up just because they print more dollars into the system. The value of the dollar drops. So even if you did receive a lump sum of 6,000, that lump sum of 6,000 doesn't equal 6,000 like it did last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or even 3 or 4, 5 months ago, or even the beginning of this year. It's depreciating value every time we do quantitative easing, aka these stimuluses, which only makes sense. So, for example, if you go buy 6,000 hamburgers last year with $6,000 for $1 each, well, when the purchasing power of the dollar goes down and people are consuming more than they're actually producing in an economy, the value of the dollar drops. So maybe now you can only buy 4,500 hamburgers for $6,000. So $6,000 isn't that much. And that's, when you compare it to 10,000, $4,000 is still a lot of money. What's the point of being an essential employee if majority of essential employees would still make less than those who have been on unemployment benefits?
Great thing about the Romney plan is it says, hey, you have to pay essential workers. I mean, what are we doing, Republicans? You have to pay essential workers. You have to pay essential workers working earlier in the pandemic, still working in the pandemic, and going forward in the pandemic.
How is that possible, though? How would that be possible? Because the thing, sorry, I stopped at the wrong time. I'm so sorry I stopped at the wrong time. But how'd that be possible? If it's slightly less, right? If they make it slightly less, I think it was like what, $8, $9, or $10 per hour, right? Of that you get from hazard pay. If you're working 40 hours a week since January 27th and they retroactively pay you since January 27th, and you're making anywhere from $8, $9, $10, $11, $12, $13 per hour in hazard pay, if it caps at 6,000, you've already would have capped many months ago. So that means moving forward, like you say, they're not actually receiving hazard pay, because while there is a hazardous condition, while we actually might be shutting down the economy again, while we might be closing down businesses once again, because the hazard is still here, people still working, these essential employees still working, who've been working the whole time during the worst, still have already capped their $6,000 hazard pay benefits if they've been working 40 hours a week full time. Many months ago. So that means from, I don't know the right numbers for this particular hour because I don't know the example of it, but I'm assuming it probably already would have capped out by late April, early April by then. And that means from going after April until now and then moving forward, you're actually not receiving any hazard pay. And you need to clarify that with the people, because if they do the math, they would realize that. But a lot of people aren't really doing the math when they watch your video, I'm assuming. That's why I don't see anyone in the comment section doing the breakdown.
Which is really refreshing and great news to hear from a Republican. He's not the only person behind the bill, but I'm just saying that it was not a mainstream bill among Republicans. What's so incredibly great about the bill was it calls for, current tense, that employers must apply for you. If you've watched my videos every day at 4 o'clock, Hazard Pay is always the second video on afternoons at LALATE. I talk about the importance of the nuance of who applies. It's the employer who applies for Hazard Pay. You can't apply. It is not yet law. It is not available for you to apply yet. A lot of people always ask me, can I go apply? It's not law yet. You can't apply. But when you can apply, when it is open for application, the employer applies, not you. And it's up to $10,000 on the Democrat plan, Romney about $6,000 based upon your 2020 hours, January up to the president, whether it's part-time, full-time, overtime, or anything like that. Romney plan's the same. Times the number of, times a supplement. Democrat is like $13 an hour. I don't remember Romney. I think it's a little bit less, but not a lot less. And then you get a number. Democrats say if you got to the $10,000 threshold, bam, that's yours. If you make
See, the way you word it though, it's like you make it seem as if like bam, it's yours, like it's a good thing. It's actually not a good thing, okay? If you're getting if the Democrats' proposal, right, was that the hazard pay caps at $10,000. But if you've been working 40 hours a week full time, but let's be honest, most essential employees have been working more hours than ever, doing the labor of more than just one man because nobody wants to return back to work. If you're making $13 in hazard pay and you're getting paid retroactively since January 27th, the hazard pay would have already capped out late May or early June if you're working 40 hours a week minimum as full time. If you've been working more, which is what most essential employees have been doing, it would have capped out even earlier. So that means after late May, early June, yes, you would receive a lump sum of $10,000, but that means after that, even though there's still a hazard going on, you wouldn't be receiving any hazard pay. Now, how is that fair? Because they're still risking their life. And then also, if you do the mathematical breakdown, right, and we're just going to use the two examples of the two brothers, one's a janitor, both are janitors, but one's a janitor at a school and one is a janitor at a hospital, right? And the janitor who works at a school, brother B, he's on unemployment benefits, so he makes $12,800 in the past 4 months on unemployment benefits. And then the brother who's been working makes $6,400 while risking his health and all these other things that he's been having to sacrifice. But even if you were to add the $10,000 hazard pay, right, that's only $16,400. Okay? And if you minus that by $12,800, he's only benefited by $3,600. So the brother who's been working the whole time, risking his health, sacrificing all that time, sacrificing his mental health, sacrificing his physical health, working harder than ever, all this free time that he didn't even get, and I'm not even going to get into the time yet. He's only profited $3,600 from risking his life. Okay? And the $10,000 in hazard pay, again, it's depreciated in value. So that means even if he did receive the hazard pay, which we don't even know if he will, the value of the dollar has depreciated tremendously. That is why the second stimulus, if they do propose it, has numbers that are significantly higher than 1,200 because the value of the dollar is depreciating. Again, the government doesn't create value in the money. They just print more money. And because they print more money, they just take money from someone else or from a different place or from another person's pocket and then redistributes the wealth. That's what the government is doing with the money. Because even if you print more money, that doesn't mean the value of the dollar goes up, and people need to realize that. So even if you did give $10,000 to all these essential employees, the value of $10,000 is no longer $10,000 of what it used to be. And then really, is $3,600 really worth it? I don't think $3,600 is worth the sacrifice. Okay? Because when you're risking your life, when you're sacrificing all that free time, when you are plugging away, working harder than ever, providing goods and services, was $3,600 really worth it? No. And we're not even considering that time is money. There's a saying that time is money for a specific reason, because it truly is. How do you divide 3,600, okay, for these two brothers? How do you divide, does $3,600 equal 4 months of labor? I don't think so. I don't think that 3,000, I would trade for 4 months of free time. I would trade $3,600, because at a time like this, having more money and having more free time to better gauge yourself, to better make sure you're going to be okay moving forward as things in this economy is so uncertain, free time to better adjust yourself accordingly is such a necessity right now. And you know what? Time is an invaluable commodity. You cannot price time. So I don't think that 10,000 is enough. Again, the government can print as much money as they want. So the saying that there isn't enough money, well, that's arguable. But let's just keep going on with your video.
$100,000 or less last year. Romney says,
I don't know why just because you make $100,000 or less, that means you should get paid less. Because I'm not going to get into the way they tax people. I'm not going to get into tax brackets. But if you're working as an essential employee, risking your health, sacrificing your time, and sacrificing the financial possible gains you could have made from being on unemployment benefits, that $600 additional CARES Act bonus, you deserve that hazard pay regardless of how much you make. People on unemployment are making 156% more than they've ever made. If we have 30, 40, 50 plus million people on unemployment benefits and they're making, and 2/3 of them are making more money than ever, that's not okay. And if these people are making more than majority of the essential employees risking their life, I don't know, man. Does that seem okay? That doesn't seem right to me.
I think it's like $5,000 or $6,000 based upon a lower hourly rate. But, I mean, as we sit here now, what is the likelihood of hazard pay being approved? If you watch the video before this, which I hope you do, if you didn't go right before and watch it, that's our 3:30 afternoon's LALATE video, the one with the red head and the blue background. Watch it, because Nancy Pelosi is really not wanting to do anything that dissects, separates, cuts apart her heroes bill.
With that being said, LALATE, this is nothing against you. This is you're just reading the information that you get and you're redistributing it in a way that people can better understand. And I greatly appreciate that, but the reason why I'm making these videos is because people don't understand that they're being screwed over for being an essential employee. A lot of essential employees are being screwed over. My auntie, who's a nurse who makes $35 an hour, has other coworkers who are on unemployment making $30 an hour, $31 an hour because of the CARES Act bonus and the usual wage. And what essential employees don't realize is that, well, yes, the person on unemployment benefits, in my auntie's case, her coworker, makes $4 less. This coworker has all the free time in the world to do whatever he or she wants. This can be working on the table for cash. This can be going back to school to better your education. This can be using the money you're getting from unemployment benefits since the beginning, as the value of the dollar depreciates, to buy things like gold and silver that hold its value as we print more money into the system, bringing the power of the dollar down. This can be used this can be used to focus on your mental health, your financial education, your skills and trades that are gonna be relevant in the future as our jobs be taken away from automation and be sent overseas. This is gonna be because we have millions of people unemployed right now, and a lot of them won't have jobs to return back to. So now's the time to be making tons of money while having free time. I have a lot of friends who are using this free time to better set themselves up to succeed in the future. And you know what? A lot of people don't invest. A lot of people don't understand the stock market, right? But if you were making double the income from unemployment benefits while having free time to understand the stock market, you could have potentially tripled or quadrupled your money. But essential employees are making half that or significantly less than those on unemployment, and they're too busy working to understand or gauge the world around them and all the bad economic things that are going on. And you know what? You could argue, at least they have a job. Well, why would they want a job? What's so good about having a job right now when you make significantly less money, when you are risking your health, and when you could have used that passive income you're getting from unemployment benefits to better your life? So, with that being said, I will end up watching, I watch all his videos, and I will do reviews specifically on hazard pay, because I don't think that, I think that the way he words a hazard pay is settling, because people don't realize that even if you did receive $10,000 or $6,000, that is not enough. It is still financially more beneficial. It is still for your health more beneficial, and it's still for the sake of your time, and time is money, to be on unemployment benefits. And people are settling for what they're worth. And LA, I don't particularly agree with how you convey the hazard pay, because it's not enough. Essential employees need to unionize, and they need to fight for what's theirs. And one argument, and probably the biggest argument, is going to be, well, how will the government be able to afford more than just 10,000 in hazard pay? It's very simple. And here's how. Okay, so in America, right, we consume and we produce. When you have millions of people on unemployment, they are only consuming. And who is producing? Well, other countries are producing for us, and we get more and more into debt, or our future worth and labor gets taxed away. All right, so we pay for these things in different ways, and they basically tax everything the government issues. Right, is basically what they do is that they take resources from people in America and they just redistribute the wealth. Right. So the best analogy that I can make is that if America has 300 million people, for example, okay, and we have one apple, and we divide this apple into 300 million slices, and some people have, and we only receive, I don't know, everybody has one slice. Well, what they're doing is that they slice the apple up into more pieces, right? And we have to use these apples, we have to use our slice of apples to be able to buy other fruits, for example. And we need other fruits to survive. We can't just eat apples. We need other fruits to survive. So we use a slice of apples and we trade it for other fruits, right? But what they do is that they raise the prices of other fruits around you, and then they redistribute. They take your piece of apple that you saved, and they redistribute it to other people who need the apple slices, maybe more or less than you. I don't know. They just redistribute the wealth. You'd have to look into it. I can't explain it in just one small video. Basically, what I'm saying is that you're being screwed over, and the value of the dollar is losing. The value of the dollar is going down. So $10,000 isn't enough. The government can just keep printing money more and more and more. It's just, if you argue that they can't print money, well, if they could print money, if they can print $2-3 trillion in 2020, well, why can't they print 5? You tell me. There is no threshold that says, oh, after this amount, then we're screwed over. We're already screwed over. Might as well reward the people who are actually doing anything for the economy, risking their life, risking their time, sacrificing their health. So that being said, maybe I'll go more into the economics of things, but you know what, in this video I just want to do a quick review. So just I could be completely wrong, but again, this has nothing to do with LALATE. It's just information, but I don't agree with the way he words it, and I don't think he's the way that he says that 6,000 and 10,000 is a lot. Well, it's really not. And essential employees are being screwed over, and that's the point I'm trying to make. So with that being said, LALATE, thank you for the videos, but if you watch this, please, you try doing the math yourself, and then maybe you come to me, or we have a discussion about why you think that 10,000, 6,000 is justifiable, when in my opinion, it's not.